What's up, Internet? This is Ramblin' Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Heart of the Swarm. Normally, I would start an episode by clicking continue and just start talking when the thing loads, but because this is the last episode, I don't want to cut off what is, I'm assuming, going to be the ending cinematic. So, let's jump on into that. We've infiltrated the Emperor's pyramid. Because apparently, whoa, pyramids are all the rage for Emperors? I don't know. You can't kill Kerrigan. In that last battle, there are 877 enemy casualties, and like 450 of them were killed by Kerrigan. It's kind of ridiculous. What the heck is that? Is it like a personal psi-emitter or something? Hello, Arcturus. The last time we met, I was human.
Hello, Kerrigan. I've been waiting for you.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to escape.
Escape? My dear, I'm afraid you've got it all wrong.
I wanted you to kill every single Terran on this planet. That thing again, huh? I mean, you had to know we had something planned for this all along.
Really? Did you think I'd keep an animal like you close to me without some kind of insurance policy?
When did he keep her close to him? When she was a ghost?
Clearly, you are my greatest failure.
Anytime now, Jim. Anytime.
Last, you will die.
Glad that you could show up.
Change of plans.
It's kind of sad that this all-powerful Queen of Blades 2.0 could be taken down by this stupid thing. But I guess that was the entire plot of the first game, wasn't it?
You can never suffer.
Wings of Liberty, that is.
Lives you ruined, Arcturus.
Made you into a monster, Kerrigan.
To serve your own purposes.
You made us all into monsters.
What'd you do, infest him? Apparently not. She turned him into an explosive. That was dramatic. And I'm not sure how Raynor didn't die. I guess he's got a power suit. Well, that's done with. So, you come here often?
Thank you, Jim. For everything.
So, now what?
My pleasure, darling.
What, she can fly now? I mean, I know she's got wings, but she's never been able to fly. That's all he can say to her? That's kind of disappointing.
I now see my true enemy. He waits for me in the void, wielding powers
In
I
Legacy of the
imagine.
Void.
I go to face him, having renounced everything. my humanity, my identity, the man I love. But I will not face this enemy alone.
Well, the thing is, you're the Zerg.
Swarm.
It's not going to be easy for people to just fight alongside the Zerg. I imagine that's what's going to end up happening in the next expansion, and that's going to be cool and everything. But yeah, if nothing else, it's just a pain fighting next to the Zerg because they have the whole creep thing. But I guess that's not too hard to work around if they have their own like separate bases and stuff, kind of like Raynor did in this game. Ooh, StarCraft 2: Heart of the Swarm. Amy Morhaime, business director. That's interesting. Huh. Yes, Mike Morheime's wife is working at Blizzard now, or something? I don't know, maybe she always was and I just didn't know. Well, whatever the fact of the matter is. This is the part where I talk a little bit about my thoughts on the game. This one's a little bit different because it's not a game that I've played before. Usually I know what my impressions of a game are before I let's play it, and this time that's not the case. Of course, it doesn't really help all that much because these things are always just kind of made up on the spot anyways. But all things told, I would almost say Heart of the Swarm is like the opposite of Wings of Liberty in some ways. They're both really good games, and I think Wings of Liberty did a lot to really bring the whole concept of an RTS campaign forward a lot. It made it a lot more accessible and a lot more fun. But there were still a lot of really annoying missions in that game. But I found it really fun just because the story was really, really good. This time around, I would say honestly that the story was a little bit lacking. I mean, obviously there's a lot of really interesting things going on, but the whole story of this game can pretty much be summed up as like, Kerrigan is human, Kerrigan breaks out, Kerrigan thinks Jim dies, Kerrigan becomes Queen of Blades again to save him, finds out Jim is actually alive, saves him, they kill Arcturus Mengsk. That's about it. That's pretty much all that happens in this game. I mean, I guess you could probably say the same for pretty much any game, but the story to this game just seems like it's really simple. And obviously, a lot of what goes on here is just to set up the events of the next game. But I guess part of that is just that it feels like there's no real antagonistical force going on in this one. Like, there's always the driving motivation of, I've got to kill Arcturus, and for some of it, I've got to save James Raynor, but in Wings of Liberty, it felt like there's a lot more driving you to do stuff, and in this one, it's just kind of, I've got a lot of time was spent as Kerrigan being like, okay, I've got to get stronger again. And honestly, I feel like they could have done a lot more with her, like, internal conflict of, like, I just became human again, but I've got to become this monster again to do what needs to be done to save the universe and the people that matter to me. And honestly, like, the whole, oh, she's the Queen of Blades again thing is a little bit lame. And like I said at one point earlier, I kind of wish that if she was going to transform into that, but be like, super, I got the Primal Zerg power, that they would actually like update her appearance a little bit more, so that she looks a little bit more different. But most of that's just kind of whining. On the whole, the story was pretty good. And it does make me excited for Legacy of the Void, but I distinctly remember beating StarCraft 1 and immediately thinking, wow, Sarah Kerrigan is human again. I want to see what happens right now. And while I'm interested to see what happens in Legacy of the Void, I don't have that feeling of, I need to play it right now, that I did last time around. On the flip side, though, the gameplay in Heart of the Swarm, it feels way better than Wings of Liberty. The one complaint I have is that they took a lot of the Zerg mechanics and the way certain units work and kind of dumbed them down a lot, I guess. Stuff like, you don't use your queens to inject larvae into your hatchery. The way swarm hosts work, mutalisks evolving into broodlords and vipers, instead of vipers being built from the hatchery, and there's no corruptors at all. And just kind of little stuff like that. It kind of annoyed me a little bit, just because it's disconcerting going from the campaign to the multiplayer, which is something that I thought Blizzard was trying to avoid. But other than that, I mean, the level design in this game is amazing. There are very few missions in this game that I could think of that I can just say, you know, I didn't really like that mission all that much. I said several times throughout the game that there were a lot of missions in Wings of Liberty that I didn't actually like at all. I hated some of them. But this game, they're all at least pretty enjoyable. They took a lot of the pain out of some of the rougher edges, which is kind of what the first Wings of Liberty's strength was. They took the pain out of the whole RTS campaign thing, which traditionally has been very hard to get through if you're not like crazy good RTS player. But in Heart of the Swarm, they really kind of give you the advantages you need. And there's so many really fun missions in this game, and a lot of them just revolve around Queen controlling Kerrigan, and mostly just Kerrigan. Doing stuff that way, like the one mission where you have to beat all the bosses and then fight the Ancient One. It was like basically Diablo 3 inside StarCraft 2. That was really fun. I love that mission. There's a couple missions that are reminiscent of Defense of the Ancients, some more than others. And even some of the missions that weren't kind of infiltration, hero control style were pretty fun. There's lots of fun stuff going on. It really kind of changed up the variety of things a whole lot. There's just a lot of really fun missions in this game. And I guess part of it is just because there's only 20 story missions and 7 evolution missions, which are just kind of not even worth considering, because they're just like, here's how these units work. But there's only 20 missions, so I guess they tried to kind of condense it down and work on getting some really good missions in there. On the matter of customization and stuff, I would say it works out about even to how it worked in Wings of Liberty. I kind of wish you could choose to switch between different evolution strains of specific units at will, the same way you can switch around their special trait among the 3 available things. Like you can have Zergling Speed, Zergling Attack Speed, or Zergling Health. You can switch those at will, or not at will, but in between missions. I wish you could switch strains around as well, so you could be like, oh, this mission I want Swarmlings, but this mission I want Raptorlings. But I guess just needing to choose one really makes your playthrough kind of personalized. The one thing that was kind of nice about Wings of Liberty was like you could buy all of the upgrades for the units that you really used a lot. I guess not letting you do that kind of encourages you to use a wider variety of units, but whatever. I really like the way they treat leveling up Kerrigan, though. I mean, I think she probably gets way too strong at the end. Like, I was probably abusing her more than I should have. I probably should have been using my own forces more, but she does ridiculous damage. So she probably gets a little bit stronger, or too strong. But I really like the way she got so much stronger over the course of the game, and it really felt like there's this real sense of progression. And it really motivated me to go after the bonus objectives as well, because it's like, I want to get those to make Kerrigan stronger. And obviously it pays off. The whole ability thing was interesting for Kerrigan. It felt a lot like the research from the first game, Wings of Liberty. But obviously you can switch those around as much as you want. So that's cool. I don't know. As far as the abilities go, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, they're cool. I mean, it didn't really feel like there's any real clear this ability is objectively better than this ability in any of the tiers, so that's good. It felt like it was pretty well balanced. And you can kind of play to your strengths. I'll be interested actually to play around with it a little bit more and use some of the different abilities next time I play through the game. Because I feel like there's a lot of room to play around, especially with some of the economic ones. Like, drones popping out two at once instead of having overlords that give double supply or whatever. I forget what the third ability in that tier was. Was that the heal? Maybe? I don't know. That's one thing that they did do a very good job though in this game, is they really make you get attached to Kerrigan. And I feel like that's something they need to do, because I never really felt in StarCraft 1 or Brood War that you really sympathized with the Zerg at all. It was kind of like, yeah, I'm playing the bad guys, this is cool. But in this one, they needed to make the Zerg out to be the heroes. And I think they did do a good job of that, and a lot of that was just getting you attached to Kerrigan. But after all is told and done, I think Heart of the Swarm is just a really, really good game. It's probably the best RTS campaign that I've ever played. To me, at least, I found it the most fun. Which obviously means that I find it more fun than Wings of Liberty. I'm looking forward to playing through it again, getting more achievements, doing a brutal playthrough. I will say that it seems a lot easier than, maybe not a lot, but easier than Wings of Liberty. And people seem to kind of be saying that in general, that it's not a super hard game. Obviously, I was able to beat it on hard my first time. I don't think I failed any of the missions past the first, like, 5 or 10. There's a couple missions that I failed early on just because I was negligent, but towards the end of the game, like in the second half, maybe even 3/4, I never lost any of the missions. First time around on hard, and I feel like I should have. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It just seems a little too easy. But yeah, I'm kind of running out of things to say here, so I'm gonna stop saying things and just let you finish watching the credits. So yeah, I guess I'll see you on the next Let's Play series that I end up doing, which by the time this episode is online, I should have announced. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu Let's Play StarCraft 2 Brood War. Heart of the Swarm. It was completely unplanned until I realized, like, 3 days before this game came out, hey, Heart of the Swarm's coming out, let's LP that. But I had a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully you had a lot of fun watching it. Catch you later.